So up on the bench today we have my Husqvarna 350. This is my pride and joy here. It's dirty, it's messy, and it's one of the fastest, baddest 350s around. Pretty much one of the fastest saws in its class, and yet something still annoys me. And it happens to be the clutch cover, and not so much the clutch cover, but the mechanism here for tightening the bar. And I am told that we can swap that out for something better. It is possible. So let's do that. The tightening mechanism here is just a small flat blade screwdriver in there, and you got to move the bar back and forth, and that's just annoying. The Husqvarna 372s, the 455 Ranchers, and some other models have this nice screw that you just tighten that's like right here, and that's awesome. But this doesn't have it, and kind of drives me nuts. Well, as it turns out, the 455 Rancher cover looks kind of the same, doesn't it? We have the easily accessible screw right here. So the adjuster here, now this happens to be a used unit that I picked up off of eBay, but these aren't cheap. I mean, if you buy a standalone unit, you're going to pay at least 50 bucks. At least 50 bucks for just the clutch cover, and they're not made in the aftermarket. These are, but these with the adjuster are not. Kind of annoying. Doesn't matter. It's a nice piece of bling to add to a saw that I like a lot and makes it more convenient. So let's see exactly how we do that. Make sure that's released, of course. Of course, this is all dirty, but whatever. The problem is, this is not going to go directly on, because this has to stick into there, and there's already something there, so you have to remove that first. In order to get to that, there's some stuff that you need to do. So, let's take the bar and chain off, back your adjuster screw off a few turns, and you can undo the bar and chain. Okay. Stuff down and away. So we have to actually take this adjuster, the screw, out. In order to get to that, we need to remove this plate. In order to do that, we have to remove the clutch. Now, there are actually a few ways to remove the clutch. So instead of using a piston stop, most people just use the compression of the engine, so you have to make sure it's off. There's a number of ways you can actually take the clutch off, and one of them is to actually slide this around and make sure you get... You're going to have to give it a good wrap, just like that. Bam, and hopefully the clutch comes off. And preferably with a piston stop. I'd like to avoid doing that, so I made a clutch removal tool. All this is a socket, and it happens to be a socket that the inner diameter is bigger than this. It fits right on there. And then this goes on my impact, and the off direction is actually, for everything else, is tighter. So now, they're not all that easy, but this one is, because I just put this thing back together. Now, another nice piece of bling that I have on here, a nice kit, is they say you can't do this, but apparently you can. So this is an Oregon drum 108215. 108215 is the model drum. It's a 3257 rim, and technically this is supposed to only go on the 346 XPs. Well, guess what? It does actually work here. Now, the one thing that... Let me take that off. The one thing it doesn't fit perfectly against is the oiler pinion. I mean, there's some slop there, but guess what? It works fine. It works fine, and I don't see any wear. I mean, I've been using this for a bit. There's really no wear on the pinion. So, you know what? If you want to have a removable rim drive setup, you can do that. Very doable. It's a nice addition to your 350. Just one Allen screw here. Pull the plate off. This plate should come off. Pretty straightforward. Might as well clean that. Next thing to do is to remove the adjuster. Don't think we'll be needing that anymore. So now that we have that done, this is out. Now I put her back together. So our bar plate goes back down. Allen screwed down. Oiler pinion. Needle. Just a touch. There doesn't need much. Rim and spline drive here. Fine. Clutch. Bar. Now before you put the bar on, always have a gander and make sure that your oiler hole is patent there. Because if it's clogged, ain't nothing gonna happen. No oil. Chain goes on. Now for the Husky 350s, you can actually run, and I've done it. I've run a 20-inch bar on these, but you know it feels best. The Husky 350s feel best, I think, with a 16-inch bar. This is a 325 setup, 66 drive link, and I really think that the 350s feel most at home with this type of setup. Now you're going to want to back this off a bit. Couple of nuts on, and then you adjust the chain as you like. Does the chain brake work? Oh yes it does. That rolls nice. So now you have a nice piece of bling on your saw here. This is much better to have that adjuster than the other one. The problem is it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Personally, I think this saw is very worth it, but there's all kinds of nifty modifications you can do to this thing. Please check out my other videos. Top 3 things you need to do to this saw in order to make it a reliable running saw. One is the muffler needs a support. These muffler bolts do back out on occasion, so the best thing to do is to make sure that A, those are tight, but B, have a support. So this is actually a Chinese-made copy of a 346 XP support. One leg is not needed, just bend it or cut it off, whatever. This is covered in my other videos, but just want to go over it quick. The other thing is this metal clamp in here. So this has to do with, if you're buying a Husqvarna 350 and you're buying one and it doesn't have the clamp, the price automatically goes down. Here's why. In order to actually replace this clamp, in order to get to it, you need to take the piston and cylinder off. or at least the cylinder head has to come off in order to get down to that. You can't do it otherwise. Don't even bother trying. So if you're buying a 350 that is used and it has a plastic clamp, the price automatically goes down because this needs a cylinder head removed in order to replace that clamp. When you're doing that job, when you're doing the removal of the cylinder head, you might as well tear the whole thing down, and see my other videos to do that, but tear the whole thing down and reseal the bottom end with something like 3 Bonds 1184, anything that is gas and oil resistant, with the exception of Loctite 515 and 518. They do not stick well to plastic. My preferred method is the 1184 these days. Again, you can check my other videos for that. So, reseal the lower bearing cap, metal clamp, and having a muffler support. Top 3 modifications need to be done in order to get this to be a properly running saw. Okay, if you want to have a really nice running saw, then you can do the port work and all that other jazz inside, but some other things that can help. This is actually a Walbro 199 carburetor, and these have a bigger opening, bigger throat than normal. If you really want to go crazy, you can actually take the whole intake tract out of a Husqvarna 359 or 357 XP. If you take the whole intake tract, it will fit. You need a little bit of modification, but suppose you can get the whole thing to fit and you have much better flow. I think just a carburetor, I get plenty of flow. But if you want to do it completely crazy, then you can do that. Obviously, the other things over here for modification are this now very nice clutch cover with a separate adjuster, and also having rim drive instead of having a spur gear in there. It does work. A lot of little niceties that you can do to your Husqvarna 350, and really it does make a nice difference in running it. So, anyway, hope you like this short video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and also, if you need any aftermarket parts for your Husqvarna 350 or your other chainsaws, please check out the link in the description of the video for HL Supply, and use that link to buy anything. That is the best way to support my channel. Thank you very much, and have a great day.